What up, buddies? It's Concert Buddy. 2022. Interesting year. Coming to a close now, my first year doing vinyl community content on the old YouTubes, and I figured what a good way to put a bow on this first year by recapping some of my favorite pickups, both of the new variety and the used variety. Going to do two videos here, so we're going to start this one with the new variety. Are you curious? Probably not. But I'm going to show you anyway. You're here, I'm here. Let's do it. Cue that lever. Let's go. (2022) interesting year in a lot of ways for me. Notably started this wee little bit tiny YouTube channel, and thanks to support from viewers like you. That sound like I'm public broadcasting.
This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.
It was a very interesting year and very fun year in a lot of ways. Really looking forward to 2023 and beyond, but for the purposes of this video, I'm recapping some records I picked up of the new variety. New in terms of I was the first one to play it. Particularly, there's some reissues in this list. There's some new releases, some stuff I'm real excited about. Now, I don't have them ranked like 1 to 10 or any of that kind of stuff. This is just a consortium, a collective of the records that I just really enjoyed when I picked them up start to finish. So let's get into it. First one I'm grabbing is, just featured this not too long ago. This is the Pieces of a Man Gil Scott-Heron classic. This reissue, AAA all analog on a Repo Flying Dutchman label there. This came from a tip I got online that they were releasing this, and I'm so pleased with this. If you really want to hear my sprawling thoughts on this, please go back. Feel free to check out my previous talk on this. But this, I know that there are some talks, some copies weren't exactly manufactured top-notch, but fortunately mine, I think, is in really top shape. The first disc was flat as a pancake. Second disc, a little. But man, so happy I picked this up. Finding an OG of this it's not impossible, but I'm not at the point where I'm ready to drop the big bucks on finding it. So for now, really happy I added this one in 2022. All right, this one has been a darling of the vinyl community of late, and rightfully so. This is the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers 1997 Fillmore box set, live at the Fillmore. See if I can get that on camera. This came out in a couple different versions. I think there was a 3-discer. I went up and got this 6-disc jammer, and everything that you've seen online, if you've seen videos about this or heard reviews, read reviews, etc., the praise is well substantiated. This thing sounds terrific. A great time in the band's history. They were just pumping on all cylinders. The band was extremely tight. This recording is full of a lot of different cover songs. I mean, it's got everything. And then this box set in particular has like a lot of extras, has like a band patch and a booklet. I mean, a good value. I fortunately didn't get this right away because I was hoping the price would drop. The price hasn't dropped a lot, but I did leverage a Black Friday deal with Amoeba. My friends at Amoeba always do me right, and I got this well below MSRP, and I'm so happy I did. Happy to pick this one up in 2022. All right, one of the credos of this channel, if you're new to the channel or getting acclimated to the channel, it's probably the right way to say it, is I love 90s and early 2000s music. Is what I came up with, especially as I started having my own buying power to buy my own CDs and then later albums. And this one is no exception. This is Limp Bizkit, Chocolate Starfish in the hot dog flavored water. I already had an OG sealed of this one, but Enjoy the Ride Records reissued this one this year, and I picked up the Chocolate Starfish variant. Really happy with how this turned out. Enjoyed putting this on the turntable. A nice execution. Some of the messaging, there's a little bit of a tiff when this was released, Fred Durst went online and said it was basically unauthorized. The long and the short of it is, I guess some folks that enjoy the Ride records contacted Fred Durst and some guys in Biscuit, and it sounds like there may be some more Fred Durst-led reissuing of the Biscuit catalog coming hopefully soon. For now, as you can see on my shoulder, we're doing the bootleg city for things that you just can't get anywhere else. This is an official release. I guess, I don't know if Interscope got sold out or if they worked out the license, but this was, according to Enjoy the Ride, this was above board. So enjoyed this. Happy I picked this up this year. So speaking of 90s and 2000s reissues, this year was a great year in the sense that finally, Fashion Nugget by Cake was released on vinyl. Now this was released as part of a box set years ago for Record Store Day, and that box set has continued to ascend to the heavens of point of no return pricing for a lot of us, myself included. So this was a welcome reissue and mastered for vinyl. The box set I just talked about was, I don't know if it was exactly mastered for vinyl. It was on vinyl, obviously came from digital source, which I'm probably pretty sure this was also digitally sourced, but this one is implicitly mastered for vinyl, at least that's what they say. And of course, me being a completist, I got the red version from the band store and then just a black one just to compare, and both of them sound great, clearly from the same metal workings, etc. So good. I was so happy. This was one of the ones I was really looking forward to when I heard it was coming to vinyl, and like I said, in lieu of that crazy price box set, I was happy to get this, and it sounds like some more of their catalog is coming out. I think I pre-ordered another record coming out shortly, so good news there, 2022. All right, so this release, self-titled by Farm, honestly, at the beginning of the year, I didn't know much about it, but I grew to learn about it, love it. This is the Noble Records limited yellow vinyl version, the Cliff Notes version, and this is a band not too far from me here in St. Louis, Southern Illinois-ish. That was, I think, a one and done, self-titled, private press situation. Original copies of this go for crazy stupid money. And I think I've unfortunately missed the period where I could have found this in a Goodwill, thrift bin, etc. I know Billy Hurst over at Riverbend Records, I've talked about it several times on the channel, great guy. Him and I have talked about this. He's had a couple come into the shop. The first one that he got, he didn't know anything about either, but he got educated real quick from Dylan over at Noble. Anyway, this sounds great. This came out from, I believe it's a European label, Garrison. I can show you there. And I think it came out originally through Bandcamp this year. By the time I got wind of it, they had like a brown splatter variant sold right out. So I do have a black version, and then like I said, Noble Records did do this variant. Looks like they're reissuing it now here in the back half of 2022 and into 2023. Kind of like a, how would I describe it? Psych rock, prog rock, just like kind of down and dirty, just getting into it. Rock and roll music. If you haven't heard this, stream it somewhere. I think you'll enjoy what you hear, and then try to pick this up in 2023. All right, we're going to pull the car back around for some 90s reissues. This is an OG. You don't need to see that. I did a video this year talking about basically a sound test, shootout, if you will, between that OG of Heart-Shaped World, Chris Isaak, and then this RSD Essential that came out this year, earlier part of the year. And really, it was a pick-em, to be honest with you. I went with the OG just probably more based on my interpretation of the sound. But it was literally a pick-em. They did such a great job with this. Since I have it, obviously this is on the Sun repress, but here is on Reprise. I think it's Reprise. Oh yeah, it is. It's an OG. But anyway, this one was a pleasant surprise, because originally when I heard they were reissuing this, since I had an OG, I wasn't really inclined to run out and get this, but the early reviews from the online vinyl community, be it the forum board, the Hoffman forums, or even the Discogs review like little conversation piece on the official listing. Made me pull the trigger. I got this, I think, up in Indy at Luna Records, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so good, so good, so good. If you haven't got this, I mean, start to finish, it's just a really good album, first and foremost. But it's one of those ones that if you got to spare 20, 30 bucks laying around, this is not a bad investment on how to spend that money. All right, so if I was any way, shape, or form organized when it comes to these videos, I'm kind of organized, right? I do actually have a list of these albums when I went and culled them from the collection. But if I was a little bit more organized, I probably would have shown this one earlier in the video when I talked about the Tom Petty Fillmore box.
Let me tell you something right now. It don't work that way.
This is Mike Campbell, obviously, of the Heartbreakers. This is I guess it's not a side project if it's your primary project. I know he's doing stuff with Fleetwood Mac. I don't think they're recreating new music. I think they were just touring, essentially. But anyway, this is Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, External Combustion. And I got this, again, early in the year. I probably talked about it in one of my first videos, which are straight cringe-tastic. So if you want to go find it, go for it. It's not something I'd recommend because I was like a baby deer finding my way and how to do these videos, and far from a finished product even now. But I can tell you those early videos were rough. But this, what's not rough is this record. It's so good. If you are a fan of Tom Petty and that Tom Petty sound, that Jacksonville, Florida, Southern rock and roll, this does not disappoint, and it's actually not too expensive. I think it's like a $20 record. So if you're looking for some stuff to just throw on a turntable, give it a spin, try some new stuff, highly, highly, highly recommend this one. So stop me if you've heard this one before, but I like 90s music. I grew up on 90s music. And another reissue, I was super pumped, like a lot of you were, is the Dirt, Alice in Chains. I think it's 30th anniversary, 1992. I'm terrible at math. Beep, bop, boop, bop. I think 30th anniversary reissue. Man, so good, so good. I know there's a couple different variants. I think like a yellow sunburst variant. I know the Walmart red variant. I have a copy, I think, somewhere. But even on the pressing front, it was pressed a couple different places. This black one, United down in Tennessee. That's the one I have. And then the MPO pressing, which I hear is the one to get over, that was printed overseas. Long story short, doesn't matter which one you have. This thing is so good. Well done. Evidently mastered for vinyl. However they did that. However they made the secret sauce. And I know that Music on Vinyl reissued this 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, and that's a good copy, still a good copy. But man, this was something long overdue. So excited to add this on the cheap to the collection. All right, I'm gonna make a quick left turn before we finish with my last record to show. Well, this is 2 last records to show. Probably a lot of you guys watching this video are not familiar with Suzanne Santo. She's an indie singer-songwriter, I believe out of the Austin, Texas area. The end of 2021, like October-ish, Gary Clark Jr., one of my favorite guitar players, performers, also from the Austin area, was touring, and he came through St. Louis, and Miss Santo here was the opening act, and blew me away with her voice and her songwriting and her stage prep. I mean, just blew me away. So waiting on this one. I pre-ordered this not too long after I got this, pretty shortly thereafter, but I'm considering it a 2022 release because I don't think I got it until maybe January. Anyway, regardless, this is called Yard Sale. This is, I think, her second or third album. The album before this was called Ruby Red, which I tracked down this year as well. But man, haunting voice. It's a great singer-songwriter. If you're into just indie, great songs, quiet, amazing voice, gallon of guitar, all the above. Poo-poo platter, right? I cannot recommend this one highly enough. This came on green wax. Tremendous, tremendous album. She was supposed to come back through touring St. Louis in the back half of the year, and I was excited to see her, but then I think the band got COVID or one of these things, so they had to cancel. It's kind of a drag. But anyway, if you can find a copy of this, stream it. If nothing else, stream it, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, coming in hot, as Bob Bradley likes to say, is the last record I'm going to talk about, which was Eddie Vedder put out a solo record. earlier in the year called Earthling. I think it's his third such solo effort. If you consider, let's see, he did ukulele songs before this, and if you consider the Into the Wild soundtrack, probably his first solo record. The 10 Club, which is Pearl Jam's fan club, if you will, offered first ups. Well, a couple different versions. First one I got. Well, actually, not the first one I got. First one I got was this one. This was the first one available on vinyl. They shipped this one at the beginning of the year. This is just kind of mocked up to look like a test pressing. Definitely not a test pressing. Came on black wax. I didn't get this originally, so I had to track that down secondhand. And at the time, it was primarily driven by the fact that that was already on vinyl, and it was not going to be toward the back half of the year until the official release came out. So naturally, the sickness we all have, or a lot of us have, of being a completist came into play. So when that did get available to pre-order, I ordered this also through the 10 Club, this dual color split variant. So 10 Club got my money one way or another. Got me coming, got me going. It's not my favorite Eddie Vedder solo release. I probably should hold the record right. I still think Into the Wild, which, spoiler alert, I'll talk about in the next video, is by far and away, to me, the best solo Eddie Vedder stuff. Even ukulele songs, I think, is probably a touch better than this. But a lot of great musicians on this one. There's even a piece of the music that is like a voice recording of Eddie Vedder's father, who was like a lounge singer in the Chicago area, that they incorporated into the beginning of this track toward the end of the album. And you can hear the similarities between his dad's voice and his voice, and it's just a good album. It's when it first was available to stream, I jumped all over it, and then obviously I've got these two, and I even have a third when they had that goofy Walmart $15 sale, which guilty as charged. Picked up just the black one because it was on the cheap, right? So anyway, that is it for my new vinyl record pickups for 2022. What did you guys get? Any of these records, anything that maybe I didn't talk about in previous videos, or if you follow me on socials, I would love to hear about what you picked up in 2022 of the new Persuasion. But buddies, thank you so much for taking this vinyl community journey with me this year. And like I said, I got one more video I'm going to pump out here talking about my favorite used pickups. But I appreciate your support. I appreciate you spending your time watching these videos of me stepping out of the Matrix like Neo.
I know Kung Fu.
And doing this vinyl community thing has been a lot of fun this year. And if I don't hear from you in the comments or whatnot, thanks for watching. But when you get the chance, just spin it. See you soon.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.